top of 8 o'clock. This is going to go to the heart of India's civilizational matters. A film is once again being vetoed by the censor. The film by Prakash Jha, entitled Lipstick Under My Burkha, has been denied a censor certificate for allegedly sexual scenes and abusive words, amongst other things. In a 4-line rejection by the censor board, the board reviewers have said that because it deals with ladies, it's a ladies-oriented film, it says, and I'm quoting, ladies-oriented film, that's why the censor certificate has been denied. What you're watching on your screens is what the censor board has said regarding banning this film. We're going to put out visuals of what the film's trailer looks like also. But in synopsis, the film starring Konkana Sen and Ratna Pathak Shah chronicles the secret lives of 4 women of different ages in a small town in India as they search for different kinds of freedom. A copy of the Central Board of Film Certification letter to the film's producer Prakash Jha states that the story is lady-oriented, their fantasy about life, there are continuous sexual scenes, abusive words and audio pornography. We have a small report on this. Let's listen in. Then I invite my colleagues to join us as well as reactions from the film community.
While Bollywood is churning out successful female-centric films and superstars like Amir Khan promote gender equality in their films, the censor board clings to its regression. It's now refused to certify Lipstick Under My Burkha on the ground, citing the story is lady-oriented, their fantasy above life, and it contains sexual scenes and abusive words. Yes, you heard that right. The film on women empowerment clearly hasn't gone down well with the Sanskari Censor board. But Bollywood has come out in support of this Prakash Jha film, as Farhan, Akhtar and Pooja Bhatt too are shocked to know censor board's reason to not certify the film. Filmmakers are expected to take the battle over the certification of Lipstick Under My Burkha to the Film Certification Appellate Tribunal. Filmmaker Alankrita Shrivastava is upset by the decision and said, in a country where there is so much violence against women and such double standards for women, rather than encourage women's stories told by women themselves, our stories are stifled. While the Indian society breaks its misogynistic shackles, why isn't the Sanskari Censor Board moving in tandem? Entertainment Bureau, NewsX.
All right, on the broadcast with me, Ashok Pandit, filmmaker Komal Lahata joining us on the broadcast as well, as is my colleague Uday, who's with us. Gentlemen, stay with me. I want to quickly invite Uday because Uday has a copy of the letter written by the Film Certification Board to Prakash Jha, which explains in unfortunately real poor language the reasons behind the denial of the certificate. Uday, if you could take us through it.
Well, absolutely, Rishabh. This is an absolute shocker. And in fact, I have the copy of the letter which has denied certification to this movie, Lipstick Under the Burqa. And this letter has been sent, of course, to Prakash Jha Productions, where it states over here that we have refused to certify your film. And you can now approach the FCAT if you so deem fit. And the reason stated over here, the bottom of the letter for this refusal is the story is lady-oriented and their fantasy above life. There are continuous sexual scenes, abusive words, audio pornography, and a sensitive touch about one particular section of society. Hence, the film is refused. So, you know, this is the shocking part that they didn't ask for cuts. They didn't ask for cuts or blurring of certain scenes, but they straight away decided to refuse certification based on these extremely, bizarre reasons, Rishabh. And this is something
can't handle pushing the envelope. Yeah. Okay, Ashok Pandit, what is this? You've been in association and had issue with a lot of the censor board's decisions in the past, sir. What is this? Is this very simply that this is a Sanskari censor stopping a film that is dealing with women of a minority community talking about sex?
You see, I have been fighting against this diktat of our chairman of CBFC, of which I am also a board member, The entire industry has stood up against this kind of, diktat and dictatorship of this chairman. And we had a lot of hopes when we came to know that Shambhanikal committee has been formed, where great makers like Rakesh and Prakash Mehra, soon a lot of people had come, and we expected a lot of changes to happen. But unfortunately, things have not moved ahead. And refusing the certificate to the film itself goes against the policy of the CBFC. You give an adult certificate. There are different, and you cannot tell me that you cannot release this film. And whose film it is? The film of Prakash Jha. Prakash Jha is a person who has received national awards.
Okay, just stay with me, Ashok Pandit. I just want to get Komal Nahata into this conversation also. Komal Nahata, film telling the story. Now, we haven't seen the film, so we can't comment on it. But a film that, in its synopsis and its trailers, shows the story of 4 women from a minority community. It's titled Lipstick Under My Burkha. It's talking about what their aspirations are. And we are made to understand that some of them talks about a narrative about what kind of clothes they want to wear, where they want to go, and of course their love life. Now, is that something too taboo for us to handle?
I don't think so. It's rather shocking that the CBFC should refuse certification to such a film, because this same CBFC had certified Angry Goddesses. I don't know whether I'm getting the name correct, but this film was released, I think, a year back or a little over a year back. And it also had women characters. It was also laden with some swear words, plenty of them. And it also spoke about sex, etc. In fact, it had a lesbian relationship also, if I'm not mistaken. That film was allowed to be released, so there is no reason why Lipstick Under My Burkha should not be allowed to be released. And this whole attitude of refusing certificates is very regressive, and I'm shocked that the CBFC is not even ashamed that every film that is refused certificate here gets cleared from the tribunal. So they're not even ashamed that what they are stopping from releasing, the FCAT instantly clears it, and that also with far lesser number of cuts. I don't know how
the film. Let's listen in to see whether the controversy is merited, if the CBFC is right. This is a snippet. Let's listen in.
वो पल तो हर लड़की की लाइफ में आता है जब उसमें औरत बनने की चाहत जाग उठती है।
रेहाना बेदी और मेरा गाना 7 Things से इंस्पायर है। लो आ गई भोपाल की ब्रिटनी नंबर 3।
रोजी की ख्वाहिशें भी रोज की तरह खिल रही।
आप दोनों का आपस में कुछ रिश्ता है?
खंडहर से घर के एक बंद कमरे में रोजी कैद थी, अपने जवां रंगी अरमानों के साथ बिल्कुल अकेली।
पहले नाम बताओ अपना।
बुआ जी।
किसकी बुआ जी? मेरी बुआ जी तो नहीं हो।
पर्दे बड़े मोटे थे, अंधेरे में रोजी को कोई देख नहीं पाता।
लाइफ में सिर्फ बच्चे ही पैदा करने हैं या कुछ और भी प्लान है तुम्हारा?
ले जान 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 बिना पूछ हाय हाय देती जान 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 बिना पूछ वाय वाय ले जान 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 बिना पूछ हाय हाय।
सामने देखिए प्रोफाइल की, सामने देखिए सगाई हो रही है आपकी। फोटो
मुझे भी लगता है कि बड़ी सेक्स नुमा आवाज है रोजी। जसपाल रोजी को देखना चाहता हूँ।
जसपाल रोजी को रोज देख सकता है।
All right, there you heard a snippet of it. Ashok Pandit still with me, as is Komal Nahata. Ms. Nahata, if your voice is reaching you, we played out a snippet of what this movie is expounding, sir, and it comes down to fundamentals. Is this somebody trying to be overcautious, or should we be very careful in cinema that challenges social taboos?
No, I think it's just a case of trying to be extra cautious and trying to please I don't know who. But whereas our society is progressing, the censors seem to be under the impression that it's a regressive society we are heading towards. So they are far removed from reality. Also, I couldn't hear the clip very clearly, but whatever I could make out, there seems to be precious little that is objectionable, and I'm saying even if it is objectionable, you ask for the moving of some words, or you ask for the...
Okay, it comes down to a fundamental argument, sir, and we've had this before, and it's unfortunately having to had it again in this country. about whether the censor board should be a certification board versus, well, the censor board where it can actually block films.
The title, the name of the board is Film Certification, Central Board of Film Certification. That says it all. It's not, earlier it used to be called the censor board. When they changed the name to Central Board of Film Certification, that itself is self-explanatory, that its job is to certify, not to cut, not to order that the film cannot be released. So what more proof does anybody require?
Okay, reasonable questions, of course, being read. Uday, my colleague, is still with me. Uday, we are showcasing to our viewers, this is not the first time that the censor board has taken controversial decisions. There have been several before this, but yet one is amazed at the longevity of the current censorial team.
Absolutely. The fact is that Pailash Jalani's dictatorial attitude, absolute brazenness when it comes to taking these decisions and sticking by, has of course antagonized many members of the film fraternity, Rishabh, but he still continues to be holding that chairman's post. Also, the Shyam Benegal's, chairmanship committee, which was tasked to bring about reforms in the censor board, has submitted its report to the INB ministry, but when it will actually be implemented is still not known. Now, as you were saying, of course, for the last, a year, 2 years, there have been several films, Spectre, Jungle Book, being some Hollywood films, Urta Punjab and Haram Khor being Indian films, which have all met the eye of the censor board, which have all had the prude or the Sanskari Censor chop-off scenes. But what a new trend is developing now, Rishabh. We are seeing filmmakers decide to fight it out, like was visible in the case of Urta Punjab and Haram Khor, which were both coincidentally backed by Anurag Kashyap, where the film's production team went in one scenario to court and in the other scenario to the appellate tribunal, and finally both movies did see the light of day, both movies did hit the big screen. So we are sure to see that in this case as well. Prakash Jha, the producer of the film, and Alankrita Shrivastava, the director of the film, have indicated that they will take every possible avenue to ensure that the film releases, and they will not accept this, definition that the film is lady-oriented. The director, in fact, who's a lady herself, says this is a patriarchal attitude which she hopes to change through this movie, and she's that's why very determined to make sure that it sees the light of day.
All right. And of course, incidentally, it's not bad publicity for a film also to get into some kind of controversy or the other. But just before we quickly need to move on, there have been a lot of decisions which have come under, well, almost mockery online. For example, when it came to the Bond film, a kissing scene was cut short. On the other hand, there are lots of movies do get away without much cuts.
And that's why, of course, the double standards come out, because the one example was the moving scenes being the opening sequence of the film. I saw it myself, and the entire opening credits are, interluded with kissing scenes. So, many argued, why is it not okay for James Bond to do the same thing, but it's all right for Ranveer Singh to do the same thing? Is the censor board, and the difference also I want to point out, Rishabh, is that many mainstream voices have also started speaking out. So even in this case, you have Farhan, Akhtar, and Pooja Bhatt.
We were told the committee had sat on this. Shyam Benegal's committee had filed a report on reform. We don't know where that is, but clearly the debate is once again out there. And it's a larger debate also. What is cultural tribute in this country and what isn't? We'll be tracking this to the day tomorrow as well. Therefore now, thank you, as well as to Komal Nahata. We'll move on to our top political